Game Woven is now proudly part of the One Shot Network. Check out other great podcasts at oneshotpodcast.com.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Game Woven. We're returning to the quiet year after a brief foray with a round of Oh Captain, My Captain, featuring guest James D'Amato, and Echoes of the Lost City by our favorite designer, Megan Cross. In Oh Captain, My Captain, we established that there is a secret place in the desert housing a sword that can kill a god. Then in Echoes of the Lost City, we heard the correspondence of a researcher heading into the ruins where this legendary sword was housed, thinking that it is the lost city of Latheria, a place of great interest to the Undying Empire, where the legendary blade, the Dawnbreaker, is housed. The researcher discovered the Dawnbreaker, confirmed its location, and then, upon entering the cathedral, immediately resigned his commission and disappeared. And now, at perhaps the least and most interesting time possible for this ruin, the arrival of the Overton Bridge. As part of our traveling bridge arc, we are going to do Fall of the Quiet Year by Avery Adler.
Playing Fall in a fallen city. Love it.
All right, everybody, we know how the Quiet Year goes by now, but for the uninitiated, the Quiet Year is a map drawing game where we use card prompts to build out an area, a little city. In this case, we have been using the Quiet Year as a vehicle to walk through the journey of the traveling bridge. In the very first arc of Game Woven, we established a bridge called the Overton Bridge, that every so often the traveling god DeGale will snap up and move to a different location. And so we decided this arc, we're going to send it to places and put it in situations. And now it's in a new situation. It's in an abandoned ruin. In a new place with a cursed, potentially world-ending sword somewhere
question mark,
therein.
question mark.
Just, the
Don't worry
concept of
about it.
violence.
For
worry
this,
about
we
it.
are using the map-making software, the map-making browser software Owl Bear Rodeo, which is basically multiplayer MS Paint. We've loaded the bridge on there.
You're so right.
We loaded the map on there. We're using the map from Echoes of the Lost City by Megan Cross, one of our favorite designers. Thank you, Megan. Just to kind of break down what the ruins of the Lost City look like. If you'll imagine a city at the base of a desert bluff that is surrounded by a dry riverbed that travels from the northeast corner all the way south and then curves back around to the west of the city. In the center of the city is a giant cathedral, which is where we established is where the Dawnbreaker is housed. And then all around it are a bunch of ruined buildings of various sizes, a watchtower on the bluff, and a few houses on the bluff as well. Naturally, since you can't see what we're doing, because this is an audio medium, we will do our absolute best to describe locations of things, respective of each other, and we will also strive to respect each other.
Fuck you.
We
No.
always respect each other, except for Pin. Gone Pin, though. Pin doesn't count in that statement.
Let's get started with something that got established in the last run-through of this, which is Rob. In the usually there's about 100 or 200 year gap between bridge events. What has changed on the Overton Bridge in the last couple centuries?
I think that the far ends of the bridge now have full-on defensible city gates. It probably started as just wooden palisades, just large trees stuck together, but at this point they are castle gate, stone gates that it can be closed to keep people from entering the bridge if need be, but I think they are in disrepair.
And have we kept track of the abundances and scarcities on the bridge?
We have within the seasons, but not as much between seasons because things change, so we kind of have to like reset that.
Okay. Either retain an abundance if you've got the list in front of you, or talk about a scarcity. Either adding it, removing it, retaining it. Hit me up.
I think I'm gonna add. I feel like the Overton Bridge went through a bit of a rough patch, like physically recently. So I'm gonna put a scarcity of undamaged buildings.
Ooh, okay.
So we're in bad shape.
Yeah.
We didn't get along with the last
So
people.
the scarcity is intact housing, basically,
That would also work.
or intact buildings.
Intact buildings.
Somewhere along the line, they suffered damage and they weren't able to gather new materials to repair.
Wow, that's really funny with what I was gonna say. Because the thought I had was last place they're at, they picked up a lot of new builders. And my thought was, I was like, okay, they build like a second bridge under the bridge for like space.
Oh.
Like, and like a second layer.
I like that.
Okay.
You know what? I think those two work together. If the lack is basically building materials, then a combination of trying to repair damage and also building an underbridge, that would pretty much tap them out.
Yeah.
Like they need a
Yeah.
refresh.
I was thinking either they build one, like either build a layer above or below.
Which do you prefer, above or below?
I think below looks cooler.
And also it makes sense because the Scorpiaries were along the side, so.
Yeah, and they already have all the security along the side too.
But yeah, this came to mind because I was literally under a bridge like that, like the other day, and I'm like, this is neat.
So Lex, is that your entry for this is what has changed?
This
They
is what has
built an
changed.
underbridge?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
There's more.
can you-
There's more space now.
So there's an abundance of space now.
It's either abundance of space or abundance of like workers that like either builders or space. I'm not sure which one is more interesting.
What do we feel?
I feel like space.
Because I'm kind of feeling builders now. You make a good argument.
Yeah. Having laborers is a more interesting tool than just having space.
Hmm.
So like I feel like at some point like space was on the scarcities list, and in the time
fixed it
between
last time.
Tarsig and here, yeah, they fixed that bit, and now they've just got like extraneous laborers, which is going to be useful. A lot of the houses just got destroyed.
Yeah, they have
Right.
extraneous labors just in time for for them to run out of materials.
Which is funny because now you're in a ruin.
Yeah,
Plenty of materials, if you don't
Mhm.
mind curses.
Which they traditionally they do
don't,
not.
Yeah, that's actually.
They kind of collect them, it seems like.
I was gonna say, speaking of curses, I have a thing.
Yeah.
Hell
Bree, hit
yeah.
me up. Let's go.
Something that's changed is there are now 2 to 3 buildings on the bridge dedicated to helping people overcome curses and research into curses. Just because that's been such a thing. But the downside is we have a scarcity of people with just mundane knowledge.
Everyone's too specialized. Oh no!
there are
Overqualified.
no normies.
Okay, never mind. I'm writing down normies. Never mind.
I love it.
Yeah, so you have a lot of people that know how to do this intense magic stuff, but we don't have a lot of people that know how to do repairs. We don't have a lot of blacksmiths. We don't have a lot of people who could do like basic medicine.
That's really funny.
You got builders, but doctors, nurses, no. Caretakers, no. Like you're putting farms up, but you don't really have people that are great with agriculture.
How did that happen? How does that happen?
Because they just keep collecting like 36 people at a time.
It's the people who are willing to leave where they already live. And if you've been an
True.
established farmer, you're not going to leave all of your hard work behind.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, also we collect cursed people. Because remember how we got the cats? It's like, oh, these are homeless children who can shapeshift into cats. Also, their true names have been scrambled around like SpaghettiOs. So.
Only one of them got scrambled like that.
I have a question, Bree. what is the title for the new profession on the Overton Bridge, which are basically curse therapists?
I mean, curse therapist is good, but my other thought was the curse breakers.
Breakers?
My brain just went cursologist. I'm like, that sounds stupid as fuck.
Actually,
No,
hexologist
cursology is the
would be
school.
better.
Ooh, hexology.
Hexology. I like hexologist. That sounds
Hexologist, really, it's got a good mouthfeel. Feels good
It
to
does.
say.
Yeah.
cool. Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I can't do dinner on Thursday. I have my hexologist appointment, and we're working on my great grandfather's.
It's sexual healing.
All right, never mind. I hate hexologists now.
I unironically did think of sexually transmitted diseases, and I hate it.
Oh,
I mean, that is a thing hexologists do have to talk about.
Yeah.
if you avoid the topic, it's just gonna keep being uncomfortable. You just gotta get in there and normalize
Unless that's
it.
part of the hex, you should talk about.
Wear protection.
This
and
was
by
a
protection, I mean this
hex-positive podcast,
was-
and we can talk about these things here.
Guys, practice safe hex.
Okay, Emily, with that, how's your hex life?
It feels like it's been pretty rough lately. Like I keep trying to get this curse broken, and it just backfires. We haven't found the right way, and sometimes it just makes it get worse.
You got to keep working at it, and if you're in a patient and loving environment, this happens to a lot of people.
But also remember, if
Help that I really love this necklace. I don't want to get rid of it. But what if the curse is just what makes it so alluring?
I can fix it.
So, Emily, what has changed on the bridge?
This is going to tie really well into having too many specialist artisans that they've started producing pottery, jewelry, things specifically to trade and sell with where they end up, so that they have something to give up other than like the agricultural goods that they really need to keep a hold of because they only have so much growing space for their growing population, and just something to give to establish trade relations.
So, like craft.
Yeah, they've got craft artisans. There's a kiln somewhere.
What I really love about this is this eats up even more of the materials. They are just like they are just tapped out.
It's like, do we want to use this sand to make windows for our buildings, or do you want to use it to make glass, jewelry, stained glass things we can sell to get more money for more materials?
They know a ton about making magical trinkets, and they learned the magical industrial processes. And granted, a lot of that has gotten reoriented towards hexology, but because that's what the bridge
they
does.
freed the use of magic to be more than just little trinkets to ward off the rain or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, in a resource, a scarcity or an abundance.
I went ahead and put magical trades goods.
Well, we already had magical goods, but I guess that kind of is maintaining
means it carried
abundance.
over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's specifically trade goods.
I basically just want to speak on some of the scarcities and abundances so that the listeners kind of know where we're at. So we've got magical trade goods and we've got crafts. But what has changed on the bridge there, Zad?
I think it has been long enough, and they've got the shrine, the mirror shrine that they stole from Nairburn. They've gotten it going, and they've been, for a while, it's been the whole, okay, once a month we can exchange a bunch of messages with the Desert Kingdom comms network, and I think it's still once a month, but they've gotten particularly adept at reorienting it so whenever the bridge moves, they're able to keep in touch with the rest of the old Desert Kingdom trade network, or, mirror network. So they've remained in touch with Nairburn, reported back, kind of filled out the maps. There are even some people who will travel from one place to another physically. And even if the bridge were to suddenly get destroyed, as long as a month passes and they can send notes and whatnot along to their other friends, people will always know about the bridge in all of those kingdoms. There are people who are fans of Overton that are just like, oh, hey, it's that time of the month. Let's get
our
the
monthly
report.
travel blog from the Overtonian.
Absolutely.
Yes.
That is 100% what it is. And like you'll hear people like there's a buzz in a lot of the streets when Overton moves, like on the other side of the world, where people are just really jazzed to hear about the new place that they've gone to.
Oh, I have a segue scene before we actually begin. The scene is Nairburn, and the town designated communicator, the person who corresponds with the bridge, is standing by the mirror. The Nairburners know that today is the day. The bridge is going to report today, and they're very interested. And there's always a crowd of people, usually like 4 or 5 dozen people, hanging around the mirror waiting for news. And this town crier is always watching for the reflection very closely. They wait for a minute, everyone gets quiet, and then the first flash hits, and a murmur begins to go around the crowd. And then it flash, sends a few flashes back, flash, sends a few flashes back. You can hear people in the crowd murmuring, like, okay, I think I know that word. There's like an S in there. Okay, was that an L? Okay, that was like L-A, R-A-R. I missed it. They're moving too fast. And then finally it stops. And one of the people from the crowd shouts up to the crier, like, where are they? Where are they at this time? And the crier looks down and with a somber face says, they're in the Alok River Basin. And the crowd disperses rather sadly, muttering to themselves with a deep sense of concern. And now we turn to the bridge. Where is our bridge?
What's the quality of the water here?
Dry. It is a dry riverbed.
Okay. Actually, they've still got that magic fountain going. Sorry, I just wanted to get something on the scarcities and abundance table before we really got moving.
We still have water. We just need water to be over.
You could argue that the river there might still be water, but it's deep underground.
Or just a trickle from a heading stream that just soaks into the desert before.
Yeah, I was gonna say it looks like there is a lake on this map to the far. Someone marked north. Yes.
To the northeast.
Not gonna lie, kind of looks like a snakehead.
So basically, all of where it is indicated where it would look like water, that is where the river was.
No, I'm saying also there is just fully a bridge on the river on this map.
My pitch would be, I mean, one end I feel like narratively has to be at this ruin of the cathedral. So my pitch is it starts there and goes up to the old watchtower, because in between them there's a little amphitheater, and there was, before the bridge moved, there was a sudden rainstorm and water has pooled there, protected from evaporating.
Just stagnant water.
Protected from evaporating by the amphitheater, and so that's technically it's water, and it's connecting the watchtower and the cathedral.
We have already established it does not need to be running water by any means.
That's all the bridge technically needs.
It is a puddle.
There has to have been at least one time where it was literally just a bucket. And then they realized for some reason that the bucket could not be picked up from the ground the entire time the bridge was there.
Because it couldn't move.
The unmovable bucket. That's outstanding. Yeah, okay. So the bridge runs from the cathedral all the way up to the old watchtower. The old watchtower. So the cathedral is in the center of town, and the old watchtower is up on the bluffs on the northeast corner of town. Which means that when the bridge appears, everyone that's having dinner watches all of their food slowly slide down the tilted table because the bridge is at a very slight, 5-degree incline.
Oh no.
Possible thing to mention, that the bridge, no matter the angle it's at, is always fine. Always feels level on the bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just curious if that's a thing we want to establish. Because that could either
be fun, because then you have people walk outside and you're like, wait a minute.
Uh-huh.
I think
their
maybe
head sideways.
takes a bit for the bridge to calibrate its new
Oh.
level. So, like, when you initially appear somewhere, it just can knock around or slide a bit before it's like, okay, we've got this figured out.
And then over the course of a few days, it sort of grows like it sort of grows up like a tree before it finally levels off.
That was something I was
Oh,
actually
yeah.
going to mention too, because it's connected to some very like dilapidated buildings. Does it just like magically make it so it's stable, or like does it fix itself over time and then it's stable? Like we were talking, like when it's adjusting itself, does it fix what it's connected?
I think if we're gonna go with the joke about the unmovable bucket, then we also have to establish that if it roots itself into a building, that building is also basically indestructible.
At least the
Yeah.
part of the building it's attached to.
Yeah.
The load-bearing part can't be messed with.
Figured I'd ask.
Sorry, I just got distracted by noticing that Zad's name is Zadki Hell Happened here right now.
I've been changing my name for literally every single one of these. It's been a lot of fun.
It is very fun to
and
watch.
I mean, you're not wrong. There definitely some shit went down.
Rob, my personal apologies to you. I'm gonna go in reverse order than how I did the prompts. So Zad, are you ready for the first prompt?
Not at all, but hit me with.
The Jack of Autumn. If there are no projects underway, restlessness creates animosity, and animosity leads to violence. Who gets hurt? What a fucking start, boys. Let's go.
Are we just like taking the food as given that project is completed? Because Emily, you never got to complete it.
Yeah, I feel like that would have been completed by now.
Yeah, at least that one, it's been long enough that we figured it out. I think the reason that we had the scorpions continuing to be a thing was because it's funny and we were trying to domesticate flying scorpions.
Yeah. Scorpions, we should, like, real talk, we should have abandoned the scorpions so long ago, but my autism demanded.
No, the scorpions are in now. We got scorpiaries. It's happening.
Scorpions are great. I think they had picked up all of these local laborers in the previous spot. And I think part of the reason that they were willing to come along was they were, like, you know, they showed up. They were able to get the underbridge done. And they were stuck on the bridge when the people that they had been running from anyways came and started destroying the bridge. I think, like, what we're seeing is there's damage from a lot of siege engines. A lot of the greenhouses are damaged, are broken. And I think that contingent of builders who they were like happy to be able to get out of there on the one hand, but then on the other hand, they're like, oh shit, we are in too deep. They don't like the look of this. They like, you know, after being through a battle and then having your entire place get upturned in the middle of having giant rocks dropped on your presumably new home, and then showing up in the middle of a desert and knowing that it's cursed, if not personally knowing that, but knowing from that first dispatch from Nairburn, like, oh, hey, that place is bad news. The builders decide that they just don't need to be here anymore. The hexologists are like, our friends in Nairburn say that this place could be dangerous. You should let us take care of things. Like, you should let us explore before you just go. And the builders are just like, no. And the confrontation boils up. I don't think, like, too many people get actually hurt in the scuffle, but the builders leave. And they disappear into the ruins of the city. And I don't have a good answer as to what happens to them, but I don't suspect it's very good. So I'm going to go ahead and just remove our abundance of builders off the bat here, because we don't have them. They're in the city.
Oh man, we just got those.
And they just left.
How are we going to handle contempt? Because we just have Overton.
Well, just the regular
I'll
way.
give Overton contempt.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give him like I think we should start with 1 just for here sucks. Bridge
And then
fucked up.
2 more because of what just happened. So, but if we can get at least 3 contempt on the board from the jump here.
Oh. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
I am not going to say what happens to them.
That's something we'll find out with prompts
We
and
will
crush.
find out, baby. Okay.
Yeah. Because the hexologists have not had a chance to figure this place out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can we say for the record how long the time periods are going to be between each card pull, each prompt?
You've been doing 1 year. Do we still feel good about that? Is it 1 year?
Actually, last time we did
Fiscal
quarters.
fiscal quarters.
Oh, fiscal quarters. Well, then what I was thinking is we should do the gestation period of an emu for the next.
Don't make us
Ah,
look that
so-
up, Ben.
Tell
My
me how
pitch-
long that is, Ben.
Okay, we're back. So we talked about it and we decided, oddly enough, we are going to do the gestation of an emu, which is 2 months. So,
For those of you confused, just convert it into horsepower and it'll make a lot more sense.
I'll kill you.
oh wow,
I'll do
that
it.
is an inside joke from the green room.
Uh-huh.
So basically, we're going to do 2 months between card pulls. So the bridge will be in this location for exactly 2 years. So this is, compared to previous things, it's going to be a bit of a lightning round for the Overton Bridge. Now, Zap. So the builders have dispersed into the city. You get to discover something new, hold a discussion, start a project.
I'm going to start a project, and that project is going to be a hexological survey of the surrounding area, so that they can begin to figure out why everybody's so nervous about it. Because the hexologists are getting bad vibes, and we don't know what this place is. So that is the first thing that's going to start. It's going to take 2 turns.
2 turns, 4 months.
I think so.
Yeah, that makes sense.
This is just to give them freedom of movement around the local area. They're not doing anything too profound with it.
It's just making sure that they don't have people randomly wandering into a death trap or something.
And I'm making a hexagon hexological. That'll be
All right.
that's my project.
Lex, your turn. You ready?
Yes.
The 6 of Autumn. This is a good one.
You don't say.
I know, right? Introduce a dark mystery among the members of the community, or conflict flares up among community members, and as a result, a project fails.
Oh.
Man, I can think of a mystery, but I haven't thought of a dark mystery.
I mean, the whole place is a bit of a dark mystery.
Yeah, true. So I'm gonna go with a dark mystery.
Excellent choice.
So, after 2 months, after the builders have left, and now they're in the middle of a hexological survey, there have been some explorations of the town just out of necessity. But these people know when you find ruins, and where we end up usually has something going on, we're touching as little as possible, we're exploring as little as possible till our hexologists do their work. But someone finally explores the cathedral in detail.
Oh no.
Straight in.
Yeah.
And they find 3 swords on an altar
Oh,
with the remains, the long rotted remains of. You all recall in Nairburn when they sent out exploratory teams in pairs of 2?
Oh damn, they make it up here?
oh my.
Their best guess is that this was a pair of 1 Veracqui and 1 Greyfolk. Question: at this point in the timeline, they're brazen now, right? Back home, right?
Yes, they're a brazen back home.
Great Folk and the Brazen are distinct
Yes.
offshoots of the same curse.
Yes, I know.
But they're definitely brazen by now, back in the Bronze Hollow.
Cool.
They might not have heard about that, or like they heard of the brazen and they don't know that they came from. They don't know that they came from.
It's just an empire.
Zalo.
Well,
Yeah.
This is now theorizing territory, but it depends on how far away they are from where they started and whether they heard. Yeah.
if they did hear about the brazen, they would be like, "Oh, we have those, but they're made of glass."
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Okay, sprinkle a little dust on this. Let's say, add me one more layer of intrigue on here. What's the response? What's the fallout of this knowledge? How does this shake people to the core?
Well, as mentioned, the 3 swords, the bodies, but in their belongings, you can find what are like, I don't remember how many there were, but I think it's 5 small idols of gods, one of which is very clearly Degale. But yeah, they made it here. And for the record, one of the swords at the altar is not a glass sword. It isn't one of the rock weapons, and that is the but in their packs they had a collection of small idols, one of which is Degale. And then there's I think 4 other ones. I can't remember how many players were in the Wanderhome game.
No, that's correct. You got the right number.
Yeah. Delicious. Lex, discover something new, hold a discussion, start a project.
I think they will discover something new. The Hexologists, during their survey, discover that the dried up riverbed was an intentional spell that was cast. But the intriguing thing is that it, like, as far as they're concerned, it's not a hex or a curse. It doesn't read that way. It seems more intentional and reads more like a blessing than a curse somehow, and they don't know why.
Delicious.
Maybe something was wrong with the water?
Bree, are you ready?
Yeah.
The King of Autumn!
Is it a good one, Ben?
This is a good one. No, alright, I need you all to understand that these cards are freaking me the fuck out with the timing, and no, seriously, it's like when the tarot deck is really serving. Like,
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay, Bree, are you fucking ready for this?
Yes.
A natural disaster strikes the area. I'm telling all of you. So, your options are, you focus on getting everyone to safety, remove an abundance, and a project fails. Or, you focus on protecting your supplies and hard work at any cost, people die.
Fuck them builders, dog.
So I think the natural disaster is an earthquake. It's like the ground itself is shaking violently, and people on the bridge, it's relatively like safe up there, but this goes on for a long time. And they don't they focus on keep everyone here, everyone safe. Don't go until the ground stops shaking. And I think a downside of it is people die, and it's not just the builders. There were a lot of hexologists who were not on the bridge.
Oh,
Some of them survived, but some of them didn't. Because they were like, they'll send help. The people of the bridge will send help. But help never came as the ground continued to shake and shake and shake for a month.
A month? Oh my god, contempt. I'm adding a contempt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a month straight of just earthquake.
Oh my god.
That is going to put us up to 4 contempt.
That's what it felt like when the Harlem Shake was popular.
Deep cut. Wow.
The jump
True.
around.
Alright, we adjust the dice. Zad, your project finishes.
My project finishes.
And half of your team is dead.
Yeah, half of the people working on the survey are no longer with us. We thank the Gale for their sacrifice. They will not be forgotten. As, well, you know the old saying, don't you? I can't place it right now. Anyways, I think like during the month-long earthquake, one of the small survey teams was able to really post up somewhere that ended up being pretty safe, and were taking readings and making observations, and made a fair amount of progress specific to them during that time, which is why this project was able to complete despite a lot of people not making it back. But between compiled notes and folks getting back, I'm honestly gonna punt this one over to Ben and Emily. Like, could each of you give me 2 quirks of navigating the city that they bring back?
Quirk number 1.
Mhm.
They discover that if you die in the cathedral, you time loop as a spirit from the moment you first stepped into the city to the moment of your death.
So don't die in the cathedral. Bad call.
The way they discover that is some people took shelter in the cathedral and died during the earthquake, and they found their spirits.
On the bridge to go leave and repeat.
Yeah.
I do want to establish maybe though that the cathedral is fine. The earthquake does not affect it at all.
It stays as intact as it was when we arrived, which was weirdly so compared to the rest of it.
I feel like some of the more superstitious townsfolk say it looks like the earthquake settled some of the tiles back into place.
Also, I think the people that died in the cathedral, I think maybe there was a building nearby where some of the rubble, like, it fell and bang, bang, splat. It wasn't part of the cathedral that killed them. It was another building.
Oh.
And I want to add one thing to Ben's. Of when they realize this, they go looking to find the exploration party that they found dead in the cathedral when they first got here, find their spirits to follow them and see what happened, but they can't.
You're reading my mind today, gang.
Got you.
You
As
fucking
inside
got
We're
me.
weaving so
Bad.
fucking hard right now.
Like, I always have to try real hard not to take the reins and be controlling with my ideas because I'm like that. But y'all are doing what I want to do anyway, so it's perfect.
Yeah, I was just like, this is just the most deeply cursed place we've made. I love it.
I want to add my second quirk. The month-long earthquake opens up a small trickle from an underground stream that fed into what used to be the river. It is not very much water, but the hexologists discover that this water has some of the same magical properties as the water in the sanctuary.
Oh, so their water, the water that they carry with them on the bridge.
Yeah, their water. The water for them. The water specifically for the Varakwi. The Varakwi's water.
Yeah, the water. Cusco. Cusco's water.
Cusco's a thirsty bitch, drink up.
Water specifically for Cusco. Sorry, I do this voice a lot. You gave me an opportunity.
Does anyone else want to add one more thing onto? I think we're at 3-ish quirks. The cathedral repairs itself. Time loops. There's the water. We got room for one more. Who wants to throw one on there? Either Emily or just anyone from the crowd. Oh, Lex wants to.
When they go looking for the spirits of those 2 travelers died in the cathedral, they don't find their spirits, but they keep finding the same corpses around the town.
Oh.
Ooh. How fucked up.
I have one too.
Yeah. You know what? It's a party.
One each. Let's go.
No one knows when it started, but you could hear whispers in the buildings. No one can tell what is being said, if anything. And people think it started during the earthquake. You just couldn't hear it over the ground shaking. But there's like these whispered conversations, except no one's there.
Hey, are these ruins haunted?
We make something
I know.
haunted?
It's better if they're
The
not.
hexologists come back and are just like, this is haunted as fuck.
This is the
Yes.
most haunted place.
Hear me out. You ever hear the phrase if the walls could talk?
They
It's
can.
just that.
I would be interested in hearing that one. Let's save that one for the cards, baby.
This is a maybe.
Yeah,
I'm just throwing
that
it out
could
there.
be.
Maybe. I like that it's on the table though. That is supremely messed up.
Well, one more thing. Not more curses. Because they figured out that so long as if you see a ghost, do not challenge it. Give the ghost deference, do not meet its eye, don't bare your teeth. Put away any weapons you might be holding. Present no challenge to the ghosts of this place, and they will give you free passage. And they are reasonably sure that a lot of the rocks are just rocks. As long as they are not part of an intact structure, and, they've checked it out first to make sure that that specific building isn't haunted, you can use them. So I've taken off the scarcity of building materials because they're around and we can get to them.
Yeah, also, we don't know if they're ghosts or some kind of spirit or something. There's people are referring to them as ghosts because that's the best explanation that they.
Just ask the stones for permission, and I'm sure it'll be fine.
And I just pitched, we don't take away the scarcity of building materials. We change the scarcity to definitely not cursed building materials. Because we have building materials, we just can't be 100% certain they're not cursed.
I'm gonna be honest, I want a roof and would like to have this wall patched up.
All right, Bree, we need to finish your turn. Discover something new, hold a discussion, start a project.
I think I'm going to start a project. It's a small group of people, but descendants of, it's like they're descended from a mix of like boiler and witches, Veracruz, a little bit of everything. There's been a lot of mingling going on, so they have some unique combinations of abilities, but this small group of people are like, we're here for a reason. There's something here we need to find out. So I think this group goes and they basically like we're gonna hit. People have already been through looking for curses. They decide to start digging into the history of this place to see what they can figure out. See if they can figure out what happened here and what caused it to be the way that it is, if there's anything that they could possibly fix or learn from this place. Also, the fact that, like, this is, like, deeply cursed as fuck. It's, like, this is scary. Anyone could wander in here and they're going to die.
How long?
I think it's going to take 6 turns.
So I had it in my head when I asked that question. Whatever number you said, I was going to suggest you remove 1 or 2 from that. Because one of the ghosts is a helpful researcher from the Undying Empire who thinks that the people... No, seriously, because who thinks that the people surveying the history are thralls sent by his patron.
Bet. So let's make it 5.
That's going to take about a year.
5 total turns.
Less than a year now.
Yeah, 5 total turns. I'm just math.
I hate it too.
Understandable. Have a nice day.
Thank you for listening to Game Woven, a collaborative storytelling collective building a world one game at a time. If you like what we're doing, please go give us a review on your favorite podcasting app and be sure to tell your friends about us. And you can also support us over on Patreon. Today we played Fall of a Quiet Year by Avery Adler, featuring me, Brianna Jean, Emily Anderson, TT Benjamin, Robbie Rolling, and Zekiel.